Now then, crew, and welcome back to the Andy Mechanic YouTube channel. This will be the very last video we do on the Honda CB750 K2 project. The last video we balanced the carbs. She runs so much better now and starts really easily. Very, very happy with that. But looking in the drawer, and I put it all on the bench, we've still got quite a few little bits and pieces, just finishing touches to put on the bike, plus a part that I forgot to fit earlier on, which should be on the bike right now. So we can get all these put on. It's going to be a bit of a medley of a video, putting all the little bits and pieces on, getting the tank on, getting the seat on, getting it fired up and out the door. You want to see this lot. Used.
You don't paint something without working.
Honestly. So this is what we have to fit. We've got a clutch cable, we've got some new Tappet covers, because some of them were rounded off on the, where's my finger, there we are, look, on the little, where the socket goes on, it was all chewed up, and some new O-rings as well. We've got an ignition cover gasket to fit, because that was missing. We've got some new oil tank rubbers and bolts, because, well, it needs them, they're all perished and that things. There's a small balance pipe between the silencers on each side of the bike, the higher and the lower silencer, so there's some, and these are missing. There's the rubbers, and there's also the genuine clamps to go with it. Honda, no bolts supplied, what the hell. Anyway, I'm sure I can find some M6 bolts for that. Silencer inserts, one's already in, 3 still to go in. I think Alan must have fitted one of those. What else have we got? Oh, Speedo cable mount, that's missing off the mudguard, so we've got a black one of those. This is an anomaly. This is the little tiny reset, odometer reset knob for the trip meter. And I was lucky enough to get one because Alan said it was missing, but I can't find anywhere on the casing where it fits. I don't think you can reset it, Alan. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, a bit embarrassing. I missed that out. I always miss these out. This is the rubber that goes on the back of the headlight bulb connector inside the headlight. So I've got to go in there again. Rev counter, drive, sealy, grommety thing to go in because it's leaking. Somebody's bodged that. Hopefully that'll solve the problem. A couple of new bolts to go on the lower yoke. Because, but again, one of the threads might have been re-tapped, so I might not be able to fit both of them. But they're both really badly corroded. A couple of rear pillion foot peg rubbers, because they're burnt for some strange reason. Now, onto the brake hoses. New banjos, nice, got shiny banjos, and a couple of aftermarket brake hoses to go on. And what else is there? Oh, yes, here over here, look, we've got some new bulbs, bulb holders and rubbers for the instrument panel. We've got a new banjo that goes on the, a new banjo boot that goes on the master cylinder. And last but not least, a couple of rubbers. These are always fun to fit. A couple of rubbers on the end of the brake and the clutch levers. This will be OE spec when they were brand new. You very rarely ever see a bike with these on because first time you drop it, it scours the rubber and splits it, and then they fall off or they perish over time. So, you know, it's just a nice finishing touch to make it original. So there you go. We've got a few little bits and pieces to fit, but if we crack on, we might get done by the end of the day. Probably not today, a day, maybe tomorrow, but I have to have it finished by tomorrow night. I really, really, really do. So where do we start? Well, I think we should get the bigger jobs done first and then rattle through the remaining bits really quick near the end of the video. So, first job, clutch cable. Here we go. So, clutch cable. There we are. Look, where does it go? Oh, round the other side. Dum, 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 dum. Okay, so I think, yes, there's the clutch cable coming down here, look. Through a zip tie. Through a aluminium clamp. And it's got a bit of a bulge on here. You can see it's burnt on the exhaust, let all the moisture in, started to rust. And then it goes into here. Interesting. So I think we're going to wing it because I'm not looking at the manual now. So it's going to be kickstarter off, and then these 3 posi screws to take off. Another one there we are, look. Just hiding behind the kickstart. So we'll get that taken off and have a look and see how the clutch cable's attached to the quadrant in there. Not had the Kickstarter off before, so this is the first time. See how easy it's going to be. Shouldn't really be too hard. And we should make a note that the top of the Kickstart here is basically horizontal. There is a couple of centre punch marks, little dots on there to help line it up as well. Is it going to come off nice and easy? Oh, look at that! Well done, Honda. That was fantastic. Super job. It's pretty clean on there as well. Right, now we need a Japanese industry standard screwdriver, JIS screwdriver, to get these countersunk screws undone. Right, so this is the larger one that I have. Oh, that's pretty good. Somebody's already pre-rounded that one for me. Well done. 1. 2. Oh, was that off camera? It was, wasn't it? Useless, Andy. Useless. Right. 3. There we go. Oh no! Don't drop the bolts. That doesn't look too bad, does it? Right. Let's get this clutch cable out of the perch. There we go. Easy. Now, I've just spotted a nipple down here, look, and a little slot in this this little brackety thing on the end. So we need a pair of long nose pliers, I think. With the cable off at the lever end now, we should have some slack on this thing. It's actually quite tight, is the cable, hence the reason why we're changing it. So I'm just going to try and feed a bit down. Jeez! Look at this! Just trying to push the cable down, doesn't want to know. Holy moly. God, honestly. Right, so what do? Should we cut the cable? It's absolutely seized, it is. Alright, let's see if we can just back it off on the adjuster, that might work. So, looks like a 14 and a 12. Okay, the cable's pretty seized up, so, oh, let me know my wiring for the electronic ignition. Very smart, isn't it? Okay, let's see if we can get this cracked off. It's raining cats and dogs outside. There we go. So I want to back this right off to give us some free play, because the inner, because the bike's been packed up as well, and because of all the corrosion, it's pretty much seized in the cable now. Right near 10mm spanner. I wonder how much of this we're going to get done today, and how much I still need to do tomorrow. Not that it's a problem, I can still do it tomorrow. I don't want to rush it, because, you know, we've come this far and I've done a tremendous amount of work on this bike. No engine work though, other than servicing, and it hasn't had an oil change, so it's like just things like valve clearance and stuff, new plugs. Done lots on the ignition system though, and you can tell when you start it now, it just wants to run. It's just so eager to fire up. It's brilliant. It's a very different bike now. It's not that easy around the camera, to be honest. Camera's always getting in the way. I wonder if I can whiz that in my fingers now. Yes, there we are, look. Okay, we're not far off. That's probably about almost as far as I can go. Is it going to give us enough free play? Don't know. We'll find out. It's quite sad when projects come to an end, isn't it? Really? There we go, look, that was easy. Okay, now we can withdraw the old clutch cable. This can go in the bin. I don't know if we need any bits and pieces off it yet though. Let's go and compare it to the new cable. Hopefully David Silver's spares have sent the right one. They're usually pretty good, so hope so. Now, this is an aftermarket one, by the way. It's called Hilex TSK. There's the manufacturer, and there's the part number for those that need it. A little bit cheaper than the genuine. Probably pretty good. David Silver probably wouldn't sell it if it wasn't very good. Okay. Wait, roof's in the way. Okay, just lining these things up. I'm just going to make it about the same length because I can't move that one. Further in, there we go, look. Okay, just going to bring it across together. There we go, look. It's got the new adjuster on it. Looks near as damn it the same. Maybe a very slight difference in length. Because that's pushed in, hang on. Yeah, there we go, look. That's more like it. A little bit of difference on the adjusters, but I reckon it'll work. Should do, shouldn't it really? Right, let's go and fit this to the bike. Right, good practice before you fit a new cable is to actually put some lubrication between the cable inner and the outer. Makes it nice and smooth and it should last for ages then. Let's go and do that. Shum! Now, Ben bought me this actually for Christmas one year. I've got one of these little cable oiler things. So let's use that and see how well it performs, because I haven't tried using this one before. Normally I just spray it in manually. Right, that should work. We'll just clamp it up. And there's a little rubber boot inside that sort of seals off the inner cable. So you can put a bit of spray in here. Now this is the Forge Black Magic S411, so it's a graphite based lubricant, so it should be perfect for this job. I find it really, really good on things like padlocks and ignition switches and stuff. Very good for that. Right, it's probably going to spray in Andy's eyes. It's also extremely runny, so it should get down the cable pretty well. You can see the graphite running down there, look, it's really good. Obviously the more we can get into the cable the better. Right, have we seen any in the cable yet? I don't know. Let's have a look, has it actually done anything? Or is it all just in the tool? I might go old school, sorry Ben, not really used to using one of those. I just tend to work it in and keep doing this until the spray, whatever spray you're using, comes out at the other end, and I've got the cable dangled in the vertical position, so eventually it will run down. Man, look at that now, it just drops under its own weight. It's fantastic. And just this, taking a few minutes on a new cable really, really helps it to last so much longer. And this bike isn't going to get used that much, so it's good to have proper lubricant in the cables, and it'll just stop them from, seizing up, sticking, getting heavy. You have a heavy enough clutch on these bikes as it is, so any kind of friction you can reduce in the system is always a good thing. I wonder if we've got any out yet at the far end. No, not yet. Right, I'll keep doing this, and then when it's done, we'll carry on. I think I might have got it sussed. I just wedged the pipe in there, so give it another spray. I'm going to give this thing another go. I'm on the other end of the cable now. Obviously there's a lot more friction at the moment because the little rubber grommet thing's running on the inner cable. But I don't know, it might help to get it down the cable a bit. No idea. Does make it a little bit easier actually. It feels more professional, although we are getting through a lot more spray. That's something to bear in mind. This stuff's not cheap. It's good, but it's not cheap. And nor should it be cheap. You know, it's a quality spray. Right, I think that's enough of that. Jeez, okay. What a mess we've made. Ooh, look at that. That's, for a cable, that is awesome. Okay, we're going in. Nice new cable, just admit. It's behaving itself very well. Okay, through there. Into there. Lots of slack, so we can easily get that nipple in there, look. Cool, yeah? Right. Let's get it connected at the top, and then we're going to get it adjusted up. Okay, it's never quite as easy putting the new one in as taking the old one out normally, but we'll see how we get on. Oh, that wasn't too bad. There we go. Fantastic. Right, well, we'll just take that down the adjustment a little bit for now. There we go. And we'll adjust it up down the bottom. So we're going to adjust this up now, and then there's still, we've got basically nearly all of the adjustment remaining upon the bars, which is how it should be. We might need to use some of it though, depends how long this thread is. Now, is that all the way in? No, there we go, look, that's better. Right, we will continue. Okay, let's just go and see what the free play is like up at the top. Way too much. Okay, we need some more down the bottom. Dum 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 dum. Keep on trucking. That another 3 or 4 mil, I reckon. Should do the trick. Hopefully there's enough threads. Should be. Pretty long. Oh no! Hang on. Oh no, we're okay. There we go. Look, I thought it'd run out of threads for a second then. Right, I'll just check that one. That's looking pretty good. Let's go a little bit more. I reckon that'll do nicely. So we're going to lock that off now. So to lock it off, we need the 14 and the 12, because the 12 is the lock nut. There we go. Fantastic. Right, final adjustment at the top. What a shot! You're hanging off one of the lights at the moment on the mag mount base. Okay, so I think we need a little bit more taken up. It really is down to rider's preference as well, to be fair. But you have to have some free play. Otherwise, you risk slipping the clutch all the time. There we go. Bit more. I'm sure Alan will adjust it to his personal taste, but there's definitely free play there, which is all we need. Right, cover's back on. Hokey dokey. Right, 2 risen ones and one that's a bit lower, so it has to be that way around, doesn't it? Stick that back on. No gasket on these, it's just a tin cover. It's always good to use the right screwdrivers there. You can feel, I mean, the screws just, they want to stay on the end. You know, as you can see, somebody's been in there and they're all burred, all these screws and stuff. So, you know, buy the right screwdrivers, buy them once, and they'll last you a lifetime if you don't abuse them. Cool. Is that it? Oh no, kickstart. Jeez, thought we'd forgotten something. Right, Mr. Kickstart. top in the horizontal. Holes, yes, the little marks line up. Perfect. Sticking back in there. 12mm spanner. There we go. Job done. Ah, there you are. It's 20 to 5. I was up extremely early this morning doing emails for work. It began with a 6, just. So I've got about another half an hour left in me, then I've got to pack up and, you know, have a shower and stuff. So I think what we'll do, we'll smash out some of the easier stuff now, and then tomorrow I'll do the brake hoses, because I need some more brake fluid. I used it all up on an ROV service the other day. So more brake fluid, .4 to get tomorrow morning, then I can do that. But all the other stuff is pretty easy, quick stuff to do. So let's fit some of these little tappet covers. It'll take us about 10 seconds to do that, won't it? Here we go. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 O-rings. 1, 2, 3. Oh, don't want the bag. 4. Right, let's go and choose the best or the worst 4 to replace. Well, I remember this one's pretty chewed up and that one's pretty chewed up at the moment. And realistically, it's only the outer ones that you can see anyway, isn't it? So, what is interesting though is the original ones on this bike are chromed. But when I came to reorder, they only now supply just the polished aluminium, not the chromed type aluminium ones. Which is just the way it is. Oh look, loose wires. There was the additional wires for the horn. Wow, that's chewed up, isn't it? Oh yeah. Jeez. Hopefully it's going to seal. Somebody's been munching it with a spanner, haven't they? Not ideal. But it's 50 years old. It's bound to have had some rough owner at some point. There we go. Let's not go mental. Looks nice. Right, this one. I know you can't see. You have to just imagine me doing this one because I can't bother to move the camera. It's getting late. Ah, this one's not so bad. There've been a bit more ginger on this side. And quite often these get way over tightened. They don't need to be gorilla tight at all. And they're not expensive, and it tidies the bike up, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? There we go, that's that one done. Right, let's go and check out the other side. Not too bad a shot, I don't think. Right, let's whip these ones out. Jeez, there's one. I wonder how many months ago it was that I actually did the valve clearances on this bike. It seems a very, very long time ago. It really does. Now, it's actually got the wrong cap fitted on the inner, so I'm going to fit that one over at the inner on the other side. Can you see that on the camera? Oh man, only just. Jeez. Maybe Andy needs to move the camera a little bit. There you go. You were missing out, weren't you? Okay, because this one's a chrome one, and it really, really shouldn't be a chrome one on the inner, on cylinder 3. It should be an aluminium one. So we will fit the aluminium one, the older one, in there. Because, you know, we can. And then it all matches. Could have done with a new O-ring, really, to be fair. Right, that's definitely tight enough. Now, you can see this one, can't you? So let's do that one now. So that's getting a nice shiny new one. You got to keep an eye on the O-rings when you're doing this, because if they get out of alignment of the groove, you'll damage the O-ring. What you can do is stick a bit of grease and a bit of rubber grease in there if you really, really, really want to. I think it'll be just fine. A bit of swarf, new part. There we go. Right, let's get that one wound up. Lovely jubbly. Okay, one more to go. And then that's 8 more new pieces fitted. That's phenomenal. So we've done 9 so far in this video. Clutch cable, and then 8 of these bits. 4 O-rings and 4 tappet caps. There we go. Doesn't it look nice? New parts. Okay, it's 8 minutes to 5. Things take longer when you're filming them, believe me. I had a bracket to mount on the bike so I could put the camera on and things. It's not as easy. Okay, another easy one to do. Let's do the oil tank rubbers. So we've got 3 new grommets. Now these grommets have a chamfered side, which is thin, and a normal thick side, and I have no idea which way they go around. I imagine that that's the chamfer side is the inside, making it easy to fit, but I don't know. We'll hopefully get some tips when the old ones come out. We've got some new shouldered bolts, but no washers, so I'll have to go and dig in my drawer and get some washers out for Alan. So we've got 3 bolts, 3 grommets. Easy, here we go. This will probably be the last job for today, I reckon. Right, let's buzz these out. Jeez. So you can see it's just had a normal bolt put in. Right, oil tank is loose. The bottom bolt was already out. So that looks like a chamfer on the outside, to be honest. And that's almost like a rivety type thing that they've put in. Oh, there we are, top hat washer, which is, I don't think that's original, to be honest. Get rid of that. And we push that through. Definitely feels like it's chamfer to the outside. I need a screwdriver. Oil tank, stay there. Camera is right in the way here. Okay. You can see how hard they've gone over the years. There we go, I think we're about there. Perfect. Munch, munch, munch. Okay, a bit of silicone spray. Now, a bit of silicone spray always helps to seat grommets and stuff. It's a really good idea to do it. Just, you know, takes out all the tension and stuff, you know, it just drops in. Can't beat a bit of lube. There we go, look. What was that? Right, that's one done. Now, as regards the bolts and stuff, we've got the bolt, and I found some nice stainless steel M8, or ID of 8mm and a bit. So they're going to sit in there like that, and I reckon that's going to work phenomenally well. Right, so I'll get the other 2 done, and then we'll get it bolted up. Holy moly. One. Just get them all started to start off with, because it's always a good thing. It's start. You know. 2. Last one. Great to have the oil tank actually bolted in with 3 bolts for once. There we go. That's actually worked out really well. It's not over squashing the rubber, but it has bottomed out on that shouldered bolt, which is the whole idea of the shouldered bolt. I don't want to use the impact wrench. I like to feel what's going on when you put new parts on the bike. just in case there's an issue. Yeah, you can see as the rubber was just deforming slightly as it nipped up. That is excellent. Big improvement. 5:05. Time for one more, I reckon. So, what next? Dare we do the exhausts? We've got these little rubber seals, basically, is what they are. Seal. Basically, it's like a mini balance pipe between the upper and lower silencers, and there's one for each side, and the proper clamps to go on. I'm going to need some M6 bolts, but that's not how much M6. I'm sure plenty of M6 bolts kicking around, so that's not a problem. Probably use some little cap heads. So, should we do that? Yeah, let's do that. Here we go. Now, both silencers are held on to the bike via this central bolt here. The bolt also holds on the rear pillion foot pegs, and I've also, believe it or not, got to replace these rubbers. So we can sort of kill two birds with one stone here. So we'll whip those off, get those out of the way because they've got to come off anyway. There we go. So we'll solve that one at the same time. Now I replaced these bolts because there were somebody used bits of threaded rod, which is ridiculous. Now these aren't the originals, I know, but I had them. They were a lot better than what was in it, so they went in. So I think 17's all round actually. Is that going to work? Ooh, maybe a 16 on that one. I know, 16. It's done. If you're in England, that will be a 17. It should be a 17, the same size as the nut. But for some reason, it's not. He says, there we are. I was doubting it there. Okay. Motors action. Here we go. Ooh, a little washer, look. Ooh, a little washer's gone, look. Okay, I'll find that. Right, nut is out. Okay. There's another washer down there. We will extract it before it falls off. Right, take that out. And now we can undo. Hang on. There we are, look. We can undo the balance pipe and then split those two exhausts. Fit the new bits. Put it all back together. It's easy. Now, these are completely the wrong thing for the job, but they are an 8, which means that socket will fit. So we'll buzz those undone. See, they're already loose, look. And this bike has to go through compliance again. So it'd be dumb to send it in like that because it would have an exhaust leak. There we go. That was easy, wasn't it? Right, new parts. Okay, without moving the camera because I'm, lazy again because it's been a long day. Let's just fit the clamp over the rubber. I know I need a bolt. I will go and find a bolt. I think something about 20mm long will be fine. And bolt head to outside. Oh, it just fits, look. There we go. Bolt head to outside. No, I think we should twizzle it round and have the bolt, that bit hidden. That'll look neater, won't it? Do it like that. Cool. Right, so I'll go and find a bolt. Right, apologies for the camera angle. It's about the only one that I can get. So, I'll just give it a twizzle while I get the bolt in. It's a bit easier for me then. I've managed to find a black cap head, which I think will do the trick nicely. I'm assuming it's M6. I think it is. Don't say it's not an M6. We'll go and check. Right. It's not an M6, it's an M5. What a donkey. Right, this is about the only M5 I've got on the right kind of length. So we'll see if this is going to work. I think it will work. I think it will. Oh yes, look at that. Right, once we get a bit tighter, we'll just twizzle it round. There we go, look. And we'll make sure that those pipes are nice and tight together. And we'll nip it up. And this isn't there to hold the pipes together, this is there just to seal the balance pipe between the two. There we go. Is that going to hold? It is. Right, we've got that big bolt back through now. Oh no, we've got the foot peg rubber to change. Right, foot peg rubber. This one is an aftermarket. It's a copy. Because if you look on this one here, look, this is pretty cool. It's got in the moulding Honda Motor Company, HM. Now that's cool. It's very cool. But it needs new ones. Problem is, these ones are, I won't say bonded on, but they are ridiculously well held on. I could just get a knife and cut down them. I'm reluctant to. So let me go and get a screwdriver and see if we can just get a screwdriver down the back and just get them broken free. The only problem being, normally, when I involve a screwdriver in this particular task, it usually ends up in some form of liquid, blood normally, leaving my body. So I'm just going to go around and just try and break it free, because it's been on there for a very, very long time. And then if somebody ever wants to put them back on again, they can do, can't they? Oh, look at that. What a pro. Okay. Spoke too soon there. Right, a bit of a lip going on here. Wait for the blood. Jeez. There we go. Super job. Right, it's not handed. It doesn't matter which. Oh, it is. Look, that one's got a little taper on it, and that one's flat. So, rusty end, normal end, Honda Motor Company. I don't know which way around did it go. It's not tapered down there. Is that tapered? It's not tapered at either end. Most bizarre. Oh well, we'll stick it on that way. Probably the wrong way. Although I don't think so. Okay. New rubber installed. Let's go and fit that to the bike. Get that big bolt put back through. Right, first job, the bolt. Doesn't seem quite right, does this, to be honest? It seems very Heath Robinson, but anyway. That's all we've got to play with. Right, washer on the back. If I can get in there with chubby fingers. He's on. Wow, look at that. Okay, nut is going on. You can't see any of this, but it's highly skillful use of my fingers to... There we are, look, get the nut in position. Okay. Now we need to do stuff up. We're in do up mode, which is also quite useful. And then we'll stick that down there, and here we go. Right, just want to realign that a little bit. Hang on, can we do that with a spanner? We can. Oh, look at that. What a pro. Really. Beautiful job. I like that. It sort of self-aligned itself too, which is good. Okay, now we've got a little washer to stick in there. That's going to be fun, isn't it? Bolt to the front, nut to the back. Okay, so it's going to be that way around, obviously. And you can see the rubber acts as a spring. That's what holds the whole thing up and stops it from rattling. So quite cunning, really. Yeah, there's definitely enough room for a washer. So we'll stick Mr. Washer on first, and then we'll get that in there. He says completely, with complete confidence. Where's the hole? And we missed it. Oh God. There's the hole. It's going to be that hard to get the bolt through. It's like, there we are. It was about a nanomillimetre off, if there's one of those things around. There we go. Right, let's buzz that up. When I edit that up, it'll look seamless. A bit too tight, Mr. Young. There we go. Perfect. And it stays up now, look. Right, I'm going to smash through the other side and get all those other bits and pieces done on that side. I tell you what, we're making good progress. There's not that much left. We're at least a third the way in, and I've got all day tomorrow to finish this off. Woohoo! Might even be time for a cider. Right, see you in the morning. It's going to be like 3 or 4 seconds, but for me it's a whole sleep, which is awesome. Morning crew, I'm back! Right, let's crack on and get this CB750 finished. There aren't too many bits left on the workbench. I think we'll start with something nice and easy. One of these has already been fitted. There should be 4. One's already on the bike, obviously. The little inserts for the silencers at the back of the bike. Don't know why Alan's bought new ones, but anyway, he has. So let's go and fit the other 3. Here we go. Dum 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 dum. So I've got to replace both of these ones and just one on the other side, but I can't know which one it is. Well, let's have a look. Don't know why they've been replaced, but we will find out when they come out, won't we? Maybe it's just because the new ones look nicer. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't think they've rotted out. I think it's just for appearance purposes. So we'll be trying to be careful with the old ones because they might need to go back in. There we go. It's just sooty and some of the paint's come off. That's that one. Is that one going to come out? So we go. Might be a little bit tougher, this one. Every tool's a hammer, don't forget. There we go. Super job. Right, new ones. Obviously got to remember to line up the threads. That should be fun. Okay, well, it's about there. I imagine once it's in we can't rotate it, so... Oh yeah, we can. Look at that. Now, I did actually spend the time trying to find some nice new stainless fasteners and washers to go in, to try and make it look a little bit tidier for Alan. Hopefully we can get this thing lined up. There we go. Right, that's that one. Dum dum dum. Right, next insert going in. Okay. Beautiful. If nothing else, it's going to look nice. And that's half the battle. There we go. Oakley dokley. So yes, much tidier fasteners than before, that's for sure. Is that going to fit in there? Might do. Way, only just. I'm going to scratch the rim. Dum 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 dum. So close, yet still so far. Yes, I know that they're the right length because I measured them off one of the old ones. Off camera. Gee, this one's a bit tight. Okay. Should I use a smaller Allen key, Andy? Yes, I know. Right, well, I reckon. Very nice. That's those 2 done. To the side. Right, quite clearly, this is the new one, and this is the last of the old one. So let's just replace the fastener first on this one. Get rid of this gory, horrible gold thing that's been put in there. I wonder who did that. I recognise the bolt. I'm not going to say anything, Dave. He's going to go mental. Right, stick that in there. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Find the threads. There we go. Right, so remind me to tighten that one up. Okay. Honestly, all last night, even while I was asleep, I was just thinking of all the stuff that I've done to this bike. It's been quite a mission, in all honesty. It really has. And we've not touched the engine. Not really. You know, it's just all the other stuff that we've done. It's pretty impressive. Okay, hopefully that's going to line up. You never know. Feels about right. One of the problems, you can't see what you're doing. There we go. We're in. Beautiful. Okay. Too tight. Not enough clearance. And I think nice stainless fasteners just finish it off nicely, you know. Shows that you're putting a bit of effort in, doesn't it? There we go. Alan can clean that one and make it all match. Good job. What's next? Like an X-Wing fighter. Let's do that one. Woohoo! What's that for? Speedo cable mount. That's easy. It was missing completely. It wasn't just broken. It was absolutely just not there, which is most bizarre. I wonder if it's had aftermarket mudguards fitted to it, or replacement mudguards at some point to try and cheer the bike up a little bit. Jeez. There we go. Is that in? It's in. That's as good as it gets. Right, now, next job, thread the cable through. Bloody good. Using the correct JIS screwdriver. Thanks, Simon. Appreciate it. Right, there we go. Pull that out. Gingerly retract it through this little mount. There we go. Slowly but surely through the new mount, which was missing, back through the bracket on the mudguard itself, and hopefully we can get that to locate back in there. It won't have rotated at all. He says. Oh, there we go, look. Is that all the way? It is. Excellent. And screw to go back in. Yoo-hoo! Another job off the list. Perfect. Right. What's next? Let's have a look. Gaskets. No. Do that later on. Don't want to go in the headlight. In fact, the headlight thing is also going to tie into fitting and wiring in those, so they're all sort of linked. Can't do the hydraulic hoses because I haven't got any brake fluid left, waiting for the shop to open. Let's do these lower yoke fork clamp bolts. Right, said Fred. Let's do this side first, because this is a standard size bolt. That one's been played with. That's not standard, so I'm a bit concerned that the threads have been recut, as in the fact that somebody's damaged the threads. Now be careful, Andy, because there's fresh paint up here. Jeez. Okay. No, that should be enough, I think. Let's give it a go. Yes, we're pretty much on there. Lovely jubbly. Right, that looks original threads, which is good. And that's the nice shiny new bolt. So we're bang on, that's exactly the right length and everything. Got a bit of a broken washer there. In fact, there's 2 locking tabs on this one bolt, which is a bit weird. I'll give that a wire brush clean up, that's all I can do. And I think we'll use some thread lock in there as well, just to be on the safe side. Right, we need to go and find out what the torque setting is again for that bolt, because I've forgotten it. Right, I've kept all the old bits of cardboard with stuff on, which is really useful. I'll give all this to Alan, actually. It's not on there. It's not on there. It's not on there. Huh, that was yesterday. It's not on there. Not on there. Not on there. Nope. Jeez, all these specs. Golly gosh, not on there. What's this one? Oh, that's the information about the bike. That was the very first video. Wow. Here we go. Lower fork clamp, 34 Newton meters. Right, said Fred, let's get these slapped on. That should be enough. Just as a security, you know, because we all know that the top clamps don't really do very much at all, seeing they've only got 7 Newton meters of force on them. I think it was 7 or 9 anyway. It's not a lot. It really isn't a lot. Right, we said, was it 34 Newton meters? I think. Yes, 34 Newton meters. Memory like a sieve. Perfect. Right, just a few little tabs to tap over, and we are good. I would have liked brand new locking washers, but I didn't have any. Unfortunately, I'm going to bend that bit in as well because that's obviously something that's broken off. It's going to look a little bit tidier like that, I think. Right, roll grips required. Can't get in there with a punch. Now, same thing, vice grips. It all depends where you come from, I suppose, and the lingo that you're used to. There we go. That's not going anywhere. Super job. Right. That was the easy side. Let's take a look and see what's hiding under this bolt. I reckon it's got the wrong threads, but we'll find out. Okay, we're going in. This one's a 17mm socket size, which is completely wrong, obviously. Okay. Let's find out. Wait for it. Oh, actually, we might be all right. Same threads. It is the same threads, just a different bolt with a different head size. That's all. Same threads. So that's good news. Right, I'll give the what's remaining of the locking tab. This, I don't know what this is, to be honest. It could be something from elsewhere. But we can use it as a locking tab. I'll give it a bit of a wire brush and then we'll get it slapped in. That was such excellent news. I really wasn't expecting it. I thought it was like a coarse metric or something that somebody had just grafted in there because they stripped the threads. But I don't know. It's good. It's all that matters. One less job. Because there's no way I was going to replace the lower yoke as well. That would be... would not go down well with Alan. Spent a lot of money on this bike. Right, thread lock required. Here we go. I think the blue's good enough for this job. We don't need to lock it in ridiculously tight. Oh, look at that. Doesn't it look so much better already with the right bolt in it? Okay, we've only got one little tab, so let's try and get that so it's down the bottom somewhere. We can. I don't know if it will. See if it'll stay there. Okay, so what was it? 34, wasn't it? And we're still set on the torque wrench, so let's give it a go. Yeah, the tab's doing walkabout, so it's going to end up wherever it ends up. God, it doesn't feel very tight. Jeez. Doesn't feel very tight at all. Okay, let's just use Mr. Mole Grips to try and ease that tab over in the right direction. I think we're doing alright. I haven't marked the bolt, it's alright. Just super careful. There we go. It's as good as it gets. Whew! Job done. Now, we could be opening a whole can of worms doing this, but it has to be done. He who dares, Rodney. We've got here what looks like a new seal for the rev counter Speedo cable. Basically, the output for the rev counter is on the rocker cover. At the moment, it's a bit of a mess. Right, here goes. It looks to me like the screw, the bolt with the screw head, has already been chewed up a few times. I'm using my JA screwdriver. Oh no, there's nothing there at all, is there? Alright, maybe a flat screwdriver. Somebody's obviously got a hacksaw out and hacksawed the way through. If it is a standard bolt, we'll replace it at this point in time once we get it out, assuming we can. Right, wish me luck. We're going in. If I knock the camera, I apologise, but you're pretty much... Oh God, there's nothing on it. Oh, it's going to be mole grips. There really is no purchase whatsoever on that. What the hell's been going on there? Right, relatively new pair of mole grips, so it's got some nice sharp teeth on it. On the jaws, you can see under there look really, really good. Let's see if we can get it out, or at least slacken it off with this. I'm hedging my bets that I can replace this bolt, because otherwise it's going to look a bit of a mess. Jeez. Okay, it is loose. It's loose. We've got it loose. Loose is the best way. Right. Maybe it's finger time. Yeah, good old fingers. Can't go wrong. Right. Is it a standard bolt? It looks M5 to me. It is. I'm sure we can replace that with something that's got a head that something actually fits. Brilliant. Okay, we're not out of the woods yet there. So inside here, all gummed in, is the rev counter drive output. Okay, let's see if we can hack our way through all this gunge. I'm hoping I don't create an oil leak by doing this, but to be perfectly... What's that? To be perfectly honest, it looks hideous as it is at the moment. And I haven't investigated this because, in all honesty, it sort of wasn't on my list of priorities to do. But when I was ordering parts, I thought, oh, we'll get a new seal for in there and try and tidy that bit up for him. Jeez, neighbours are going mental. They're moving out today. We have no idea who we're going to get tomorrow living in that house next door. It could be anybody. Or anything, to be honest. It's a bit of a worry. Is it going to come out? Jeez, it should do. It should just pull out. Once we get all this gunge out of the way. Where's my pliers? There we go. So it's had stuff wrapped around it, look, clearly to try and seal it up. And then wedged in the hull, and then some black RTV blathered all over it, just in a hope of, you know, sealing. Which it may well have done, because there's no oil leaking out. But it looked a mess, didn't it? Why is it not coming out? I think because we're still zip tied to a bracket behind it. Hang on. If you're going to zip tie something, do it professionally. Look at that. Right, so destroy zip tie. That's one. Try and do it in a way that you don't destroy the cable, Andy. There we go. Two. Okay, let's try again. That's better. Just working out the camera orientation because it was a bit out. Okay, let's see if it's going to come out now. Oh, there we go. Beautiful. Okay, so I believe there should be a seal right down the bottom inside there. I need torches to have a look. Ah, yes. It looks like that's where it is. Peculiar. Right, a bit of a clean-up job to do, but we need to extract that seal first. How the hell are you going to watch me do this? Ha! Not the easiest camera view to try and camera angle to achieve for you, but we'll give it a go. Right, I've got a series of picks, and I believe, hopefully, I'm aiming on the fact that we can actually just get in there and drag it out with a pick, because obviously this one's going to go for scrap. It is hiding down there somewhere. I'm sort of going more by feel than anything else. So digging the pick in and trying to... Oh, what's that? Oh, the silica made it all the way down there, look. Nice. Good job. Right, sorry, camera. Oh, something just gave. Oh, there we go, look. Fantastic. Yes, that looks like the old seal. Brilliant. Right, bit of a clean up, and we'll tap the new one down there. Excellent. Very happy about that. Hope it's the right part. Okay, I thought while your camera's still there, let's just give it a clean up together. Just very carefully get rid of all this bloody RTV, honestly. What's wrong with ordering the new seal rather than blathering the whole thing in black stuff? Right, we need a bit of brake cleaner. Brake cleaner and a new rag. Okay, I'm going to need a wire brush. Oh, sorry, camera. Now, is that all the crap out? Probably not. Still bits of RTV in there. How's it look on the camera? Doesn't look too bad, does it? Looks like there's... Oh, that's the hole for the bolts. That's all right. I thought that was a bit of black goo, but it's not. Tool girl Holly's just confirmed she's all set for the weekend, which will be fantastic. Can't wait. There we go. I think we're not far off at that. Pretty sure you're not going to see all of this on the video. Now, wire brush. Just a brass one though. It's not going mad. Nice. Look at that. Looking so much better. Perfect. Right, where's my screwdriver? I don't know where it is. There it is. Oh, so the pick. There's the screwdriver. Also, that doesn't stab the cloth, just to get the last bits out. You can't see anything at the moment. There we go. I reckon that'll do, actually. That's not bad. Okay, next job. Insert new seal. That's going to involve the use of a socket. Old seal, which looks a bit sort of pushed in, doesn't it, on the face of it. Where's my rag? A bit distorted. See there, look. Oh, that's probably, it might be because of me pulling it out. I don't know. But that's the old one, and that's the new one. Yeah, same diameter. Looks pretty good. Okay, now, obviously to try and protect this seal whilst fitting it, I'm going to put a little tiny blob of rubber grease just on the inside so it feeds onto the cable nicely and doesn't tear that little lip, hopefully. Who knows? Give it the best chance, it'll be good. And then, I think it would be prudent, so if we just hang that over the screwdriver, it would be prudent to put a little bit of bearing, what is it? Bearing seating compoundy lock stuff, bearing lock they call it. Way too much. A bit dribbly. Holy crap. Hang on, let's just roll it around there. Don't want to contaminate it if I can help it. I just want, some of that will stay in place, and that hopefully will lock that seal into position. Missed a bit. There he is. That'll do. Right, back to the bike. Right, I've got you about as far away as I possibly can, but still maintaining some kind of vision for you. Okay, that's now in position, ready for a tappy tap with, what is it? What do I use? A 9mm socket. I might just try pushing it down first, I don't know. Oh, jeez. That was quite a loose fit. That was a very loose fit. But that's as good as it's going to get. So maybe, just maybe, there's an issue with the rocker cover. For some reason it's got galled out. I don't know. That is as far down as... Oh, hang on. No, we're good. We're good. It wasn't quite seated, but it is now. That went in really well, actually. No need for a hammer. Right, let's take a really good close-up. How's that? You can see the seal, you know, in its little hole. All looking pretty good. That went in extremely well. I'm actually really pleased with that now. Right, got to clean that cable up now and find a new bolt. Honestly, the lengths that some people go to, it's just easy to buy a new seal, people. This is probably PTFE tape for plumbing and things. Not particularly oil resistant. That's, oh no, that is just RTV stuck in that groove. That shouldn't, that's just, it's not even supposed to be there. Almost there. Where's my little wire brush? These little brass wire brushes are great because they don't leave any marks on the aluminium, but they do help to clean it up. And they're really cheap. Mrs. Mechanic loves these little things for various jobs around the workshop and the house, to be honest. Look at that. That's pretty good, isn't it? Right, with all that cleaned off, is it going to focus? It is going to focus. With all that cleaned off, we can now reinsert that. And then all I have to do is find a bolt. Now, is it lined up? It is. See, look, it's loose. But it's the seal that does the sealing, not the actual cable itself. Sometimes you get the cables have an O-ring as well, a bit further back, but this one doesn't. This design doesn't lend itself to that. So all we need now is a new M5 bolt. Back shortly. Shum! Hoo-hoo! We're so close. I hope it doesn't leak. If it does leak, oh God.
Bet you didn't plan on that.
Well, hopefully it's not going to leak. That's the plan. If it does, then I have to get gummed up with RTV again, won't it? But I'll have to eat my hat for telling somebody off for the mess that they made. Anyway, okay, a little bit of thread lock, just want to make sure it stays in there. Nice stainless steel cap head with a little washer. Now the bolt only acts as a stopper to stop the cable from pulling out. So it doesn't need to be gorilla tight. The cable does sit like loose, that is normal. But the inner should remain stationary and the seal should remain sealed against the rotating inner and the rocker cover. So hopefully that's going to be okay. Fingers crossed. Okay, so what's next? We're running out of things to fit. Let's go and take a look. Make a management decision, why don't you, Andy? Dum 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 dum. Oh, we can get rid of that now, can't we? Look, excellent stuff. That's that one gone, and oh, we did those yesterday. Jeez, oh no, I did that this morning. Get rid of those. Speedo cable mount. We've done that. God, we've done loads of stuff now. Starting to get my bench back. What else have we got? Trip meter reset knob. Leave that for later. Ignition cover gasket was missing. Yeah, should we go and fit that? Let's give that a go. Not too sure how well it's going to work because one of the bolts has got damaged threads. Oakley dokley. Well, in we go. Now I'm sure you all remember what's inside here, because this was one of the videos that we did a while ago where we converted the bike to electronic ignition from Dyna or Dana, however it depends on how you pronounce it and depends where you live in the world. Jeez, is that too small? No, it's just right. There we go. So this bolt, you'll see behind some of the aluminium has been damaged. The bike has obviously been dropped at some point, I would say. And that gasket should sit around here, and somebody's built it up with basically like liquid metal kind of stuff to try and re-tap. So with it now being electronic ignition and the fact that really it's a non-serviceable part of the bike now, you're not going in there on a regular basis and, you know, cleaning up the points and resetting the points and stuff and checking the ignition timing. It's done. It should stay fine for many, many, many years. I think what we'll do is we'll affix the gasket inside the lid if it fits. We'll give it a good clean up in here, and we'll use some thread lock on that one to try and help bond the bolt in and at least apply a bit more pressure to the gasket. And that's the best option under the circumstance. I'm not going to get involved with trying to fix that. That's there for another day. Right, first job, clean up. There's a lot of grime and stuff down where the gasket's going to sit, so we need to give that a really good clean out. I was just looking at the that lower bolt that's being used, and it's not even a metric thread, it's just something somebody's had kicking around. So yeah, it's not ideal, to be honest. There we go. I'm looking at buying a new air compressor actually at the moment to work with the new shop blasting cabinet that I purchased, because I need more air basically. I'm looking at a Honda powered air compressor, so it's got like a Honda petrol engine on it, which would be pretty cool. Not that I won't use it all the time, I'll just use my electric one for most of the jobs, but when I need lots of CFM, lots of flow for the shop blaster, then we can just fire up the petrol compressor. And hey presto, we're all good. Right, that's pretty good actually. Where's my brake cleaner? Right, brake cleaner onto a rag so it doesn't bounce back on the camera. So there is a slow learning curve. There is, believe it or not. Right, we'll just get rid of any residue around that groove. Sorry, you can't see shit, can you? There we go. That's much better. Shall I say that again? We'll just get rid of the residue out of that groove. Because my intention is to stick the gasket into this cover. So it's got a bit more, I don't know what you call it, a bit more security. There we go. Right. So I just think a few little blobs of RTV, just tiny, tiny blobs inside here, and then we'll lay the gasket in. Either that or maybe a smear, a very light smear of RTV. Okay, let's see if the gasket is actually going to fit inside there. It should do. Now, this one is, oh, can you see the part number behind there? I'll try and read it for you. It's 30372-300-300. There you go. If you ever need one of these gaskets, that's the part number. Okay, let's get the cardboard out. Get rid of that. Now the plan is that going to sit nicely inside there? I suppose it should do, really, because that's where it's supposed to fit, but I just want to check. No, it's not. No, it's slightly too large. That's a bugger, isn't it? That's a real bugger, because it should. That's where it's supposed to go. See, look. I might have to chop a little bit out of the gasket. It really is just a cork gasket to stop chatter. It's not really a sealing gasket to keep. Well, it's not going to be watertight, that's for sure. Not happy with that. Yeah, because even fitted to if it was fitted to the bike, then it would be this edge that would then make contact with the gasket. Let's just go and check the bike and see how it actually sits, the cover. Let's go for a walk. Okay. Yeah, you see the cover goes over the casting here, so the gasket should fit inside here, but it's a little on that. Jeez, on that lip. Oh yeah, look, sorry, on that lip just there, look, and it's too big, so I'm going to have to cut it. I have no choice. That's where it has to sit, and we're just going to need to cut it because it's been made too big. God damn. See, that's been repaired as well. Look, it says the made in Japan bit's disappeared. It's been re-chromed. Wow, maybe you can't get these covers anymore. Jeez. Interesting, all the little clues. 50 years of this bike's been around, so I mean, it's been through the wars for sure. Right, RTV required. Now, I know some of you are going to scream at me for doing this, and to be perfectly honest, I'm internalising a scream as well. But since the gasket doesn't actually sit flat, it's a little bit too big. I'm just going to take a little tiny piece out. Don't do it, Andy. Don't do it. But I have to do it. It's just what needs to be done. So, here we go. Okay, I'm just going to take out maybe, I don't know, what, about 3 mil? It won't be a lot, will it? In fact, we could even lay it on and find out what the overlap is, like a true engineer would do. Which I'm certainly not. Okay, stick that on there. All gets a bit wishy-washy now, doesn't it? Try and do it to camera so you can see what's going on as well. Ooh, nearly there. Okay, so we can see the overlap now. And the overlap is about 3 millimeters. Cool, okay, let's go with that. Let's take 3 mil off the end of there. Might cut it better on the metal actually. Get rid of the cardboard. There we go. Goodbye. Right. All these weird little jobs that you have to do. Okay, RTV is coming in. I'm just going to put little blobs around it and then try and smear it about a bit. Are we on camera? We are on camera. Look at that. Bloody good. Right, oh jeez. Okay, just lots of little blobs around. Don't need lots. I'm not going to go mad. Probably pick up some of that one and stick some more over here. Okay, a bit more required. Oh, jeez. Doesn't need a lot. It's just to hold it in place, really. I feel like I should have a crafting channel. Right, that's probably enough. Okay, so Honda, that's the top, so we should have the join down the bottom, really, shouldn't we? Just to be fair, just to try and do things reasonably accurately. Oh, I was going to smear it first, wasn't I? Jeez. Okay, let's smear it first. Obviously there'll be a bit of a clean-up going on with this. Yes, I should really have put gloves on. It doesn't look pretty at the moment, but I think it'll work. And I can guarantee to you, Alan will never go in this bit. Will you, Alan? He'll open it up. Well, if he does go in it, I'll just go, what's the magic that this thing does? Right, I reckon that'll work. Here's my rag. Okay. So, Honda to the top. That's my top. There we go. And gasket. Lay gasket on approximately with hole at 6 o'clock. Slit. And then once it's in position and stuff, we'll give it a bit of a white round when it's on the bike, I think. Look at that. That's actually not bad, I don't think. I know. I did a terrible, terrible thing by cutting the gasket, but hopefully you've realised why I did it. And the reasonings, because it was made a bit too big, because it's supposed to sit inside that lip. How was that? I reckon that's pretty good, don't you? Yeah. Okay, let's go and find some thread lock and we'll stick it back on the bike. Of course, it would start to rain, as it always does, as soon as I press the record button. Okay, so we're not going to use thread lock on the top bolt, because the top bolt is just fine. And the only reason why I'm using it is because the threads in here are really, well, they're not doing very well, in all honesty. So we'll offer that up. Get the hole aligned, there we go. Put the bolt in. At least you don't have to go in here very often now. Right, that's that one gingerly done up. We'll get the other bolt. You can see it's not a metric thread at all. It's some kind of, I don't know, weird type of thread. I'll stick a bit of that on. I'll give it a bit extra this time because it's filling in all the gaps is what it's doing. I could use the bearing mount stuff, I suppose. Okay, going in. Right, that's as tight as I'm going to do it. Obviously you can't tell how tight I did it, but believe me, it's not very tight. I'll just nip that one up. There we go. Wipe off the excess, onto shorts. I think we're about there, people. I think we're about there. Now I'm going to leave Alan to polish all this up because he really likes polishing chrome, does Alan? And in all honesty, I don't really have time to do it, but I reckon that'll do a treat. Well, that I think it's a million times better than it was. It should help a bit of the moisture, keep a bit of the moisture out. Oh, look at that! What a machine! Oh, another one done. Awesome. Wow. Okay, we really are cooking on gas right now. I've got maybe about another hour, really, before I've got to pack up and head off to the local town, because I need some brake fluid. I can't do one of these tasks without it. So let's take a look and see what else is left that we can get done before I have to leave. Okay, well, seat bolts, it's a bit later on, is that. Banjo bolts and flexi pipes, that's the brake job, as is that. We've got lever ends to fit, and we've got some wiring to do. Well, the lever ends to fit, it's minutes, it shouldn't take long at all. The wiring, now that's a different matter altogether. We've got brand new, genuine Honda bulbs. Look at that, no expense spared. And we've also got some very kindly sent in by a viewer bulb holders, because they're no longer available and they are missing from the bike. And then we've got some new rubbers to mount them from David Silver Spares back in the UK. Not a sponsor, by the way, just a supplier. Very helpful they were, must admit. So I think realistically we can also fit the grommet to the back of the headlight, because yes, I forgot that before. It could do with a new one really, but hey, you know, it is what it is. It's all we've got. So yeah, I think we've got to get that wiring done, and then we can't really do any more until I get back with the brake fluid. Now, I just want to refresh myself as to which one of these the light does work. I remember on one of the clocks, the backlight bulb did illuminate when I turned the ignition on. So I'm just going to turn off the workshop lights for probably the first time ever on the Andy Mechanic YouTube channel. And then I'll turn the ignition on and we'll see which one actually works. Yeah. Okay, ignition is going on, if I can find it. Here we go. Ah. So this one's okay. All we need to do now is worry about this side, which is the Speedo side. Right, said Fred. I don't know what this hole's for. It must just maybe have a grommet put in it for some reason. It's missing. So, don't know. But obviously the bulb is inside there, which is a bit odd, because you think, you know, it should be a bit easier to replace than that, shouldn't it? Right, Speedo cable is out. Let's pull that down a bit. There we go. Now, God, this is going to be fun getting this back together again. Might involve an enormous zip tie holding the whole thing together. Okay, so if we undo this, we should then be able to wiggle that one out and take this chrome cover off the back and see what's involved, because it may just be a bulb that we need to replace. It's good news that the other one's working. I'd forgotten about that one working. Right, that's out. Everything springs around, so we don't want to lose that bolt. There we go, that's always safe. Okay, can I get the Speedo out without scratching the headlight? Yes, okay, let's get the wire out. Okay. Jeez. Okay, I think we've got that one screw to undo. We'll just get this rubber out of the way as well. You can actually buy... Yeah, there we go. I need to put it somewhere where it's not going to scratch anything. There we go. Right, small star screwdriver. What have we got? Let's try that one. Are we still in shot? We're not. Bring you down a bit. There we go. Coolio. So at this point in time, I don't have to go in the headlight, which is rather nice. So we'll undo that little screw there. It's already lost one of these screws. I wonder what this hole's for. That's bizarre. Right, that's the little screw out of the way. Ah, there we are, look. Right. Let's see if we can get that back without scratching the paint. This is the prize. So if we can lever that out of there. It's all a bit messy, isn't it? It'd be nice to do this on the bench, really, but I don't want to. Okay. Bulb. Is it blown? Let's go and test the bulb. Lots of different ways of testing bulbs. I'm just going to use a multimeter because that's the easiest way for me at the moment. So, continuity test, audible, check. One on the outside, one on the inside. Oh, yes, it could just be a bulb. Excellent. Genuine Honda. Yoink. I actually assumed that all the bulb holder and stuff. Oh, look at that. The rubber is stuck in there, I think, by the looks of it. So maybe. Let's just see if the bulb works first. Hang on. Stick that in there. Right, ignition on. Oh, yes. Right, that is excellent news. The bad news is this rubber grommet thing, which sits in there. Oh no, it's just dropped in.
What the hell, Andy?
It's gone really hard and it's perished, but I don't know, will it sit in there? Nah, it's going to come loose now. I need to replace that rubber boot. Bugger, that's going to involve going in the headlight. Okay, so we have to go in the headlight now. At least we know the wiring's intact. Right. Oh, there's my screwdriver. Really didn't want to have to go back in here again, but I do need to refit that boot, so. Suck it up, Andy, suck it up. It's got to happen. Jeez, I'm just going to see if I can stick that back up on top for now. Sort of very much in the way. There we are. That'll hold it out of the way. Okay, going in. I was so careful putting all this back together, as all this has been repainted. Is that going to come off? It is. Excellent. Right, one more. Okay. Lovely jubbly. Okay, I'll just unplug that, get rid of the headlight. Bit of cardboard. Okay, wiring. Where does that wiring come in? Because I need to unplug that wiring now. Hey, holy moly. Jeez. Hang on. Okay, I think I've found it. Arms all over the place, sorry. I think it's that one. We don't want that dropping off there again, do we? Okay, so it's going to be that one. Definitely that one there. So it goes on to a red, so brown with a red tracer for that one. Hang on, let's just get to grips with this one. Right, it's those two. Jeez. Okay, green to green. That's easy. Way. Come on, mate. Work with me, not against me. Let me get a rag. Let's just stick that under there like that. I really don't want to be scratching this newly painted headlight. Alan will be very upset. Okay, so it's these two. So it's green to green, that's easy. And we've got brown with a white tracer that goes onto brown with a red tracer. Remember that? Okay, we'll try and leave them somewhere obvious. There we go. Right, so we should now be able to remove this completely from the bike. Yes! Right, to the bench. Okay, what have we got? So, first of all, wiring comes through this D-shaped hole. So let's get that out of the way. Ah, it's got two bulb holders. Interesting. Oh no, look at this. Where's my penknife? or box knife or some kind of a knifey thing going on, because this is just horrendous. You know, I thought I'd done all the wiring on this bike, but clearly not. And it did have a blown fuse a couple of weeks ago, a bit longer than that maybe, and it was really weird why the fuse had blown, and I think we might have just found the reason for it. If you see there, look, we've got bare wire onto metal casing, i.e. direct short to ground. That would do it, because the lights were definitely on. Jeez. This actually looks original taping as well. Oh, broken wire as well, look. Fantastic. It just gets better. It was on the way out. There we go. Okay, so green is ground, so obviously that's being grounded out onto the casing as well, which in this case probably isn't going to help. Now, let's see if, obviously the other bulb is faulty as well. See if we can ease that out of there. Bad positioning, Mr. Honda. Obviously Speedo drive person wasn't speaking to bulb person during the design of this one. Oh, look at that. So that bulb is also blown, obviously, because it wasn't working. And the rubbers are all torn, both sides, and we've got a bit of rubber hiding down there that I've got to try and get out somehow. I'll work it out. Okay, so let's unscrew that. I haven't got our Phillips to hand, so there we go. And then we should be able to just separate all of this away from the unit now. Okay, right, I need to sort that out, make it good again. It could be an epic moment. I've just spotted the rubber in there, look. I don't know if I can get it out on camera or not, but we'll give it a go. Oh yes, look at that. Extracted. Good job. Okay, well, I think we'll just snip that off there. And we're going to reuse that bit. This bit here is, well, at the end of the day, pretty knackered. Both the rubbers are badly torn. I dare say the bulb holders are probably okay, but I think we can do a lot better than this. There's the little screw. Okay, so the terminal, the O-ring terminal, is used for all of the, to bring all the earths together. Okay. Right, where's the new stuff? Here we are. Mr. Nuttall sent this through, I believe, from memory. Nice chap. Very nice chap. Get rid of that. Okay, so bulb holders appear to be the same, but in far better condition. So we're going to use those. Now what we do need to do though is thread through the new bit. So how is that going to fit in there with the, let's pull one of these apart first. Let's have a look, because these are, I wouldn't say a scrap, but they're not necessary anymore for now. So let's just cut one of these open and have a look and see how the layout is on the inside of the rubber. Wow, okay, slightly that rubber is just absolutely perished, isn't it? Okay, there we go. Jeez. Buggered, to be perfectly honest. So on this one, the earth wire, the green, does not protrude out of the holder like this one does. So we're going to basically have that earth coming through one of the two holes. It's just going to stick out, which is fine because it's the earth side, so it doesn't matter. So what we're going to need now is some silicone spray to aid the the threading through stuff. Right, so silicone spray, here we go. A bit down there, don't need much, it's only small. Right, now let's get these threaded through. Easier said than done, do you think? Is it actually a hole? Oh, it is now. It wasn't before. It was still rubberized. So maybe now we can achieve that. I think some pliers are called for. Where's my long nose pliers again? Okay. Well, that's one. That was jolly good. I like that. Right, I'll try again, see if I can be as lucky as that again for a second time. Highly unlikely. We will see. Probably a bit too long actually. Right, let's give that a go. Oh, look at that. That was pretty good. Not quite far enough through. There we are, look. Okay, a bit more green. Now we need to move that onto this side. Okay, and then we can thread that over there. At the same time pull all this through without going mental with it, because I don't want to break any wires off. It's a bit awkward, isn't it, with that big sticky out earth thing, but maybe it's going to go through. Bit of a strange fix, this one. Well, I can sort of see it now. It's going down. It's going down. There we go. Right. It's in. That's as good as it's going to get, mister. Okay. That's one done. Where's the other one? Where's the grommet? There's the bulb. Okay, well, we know what we need to do now, don't we? Let's see if we can be lucky again. So we've got to pop those through because they actually still have rubber stuck in them. Pliers. Oh, silicone. Hang on. Silicone is it just helps enormously with impossible tasks like this. Right, let's do this one first. Oh, mate, honestly, you're just too good at this kind of thing. What's going on there? Right, that's that one. What does Eric say? Better to be lucky than good, he says. I think he's right. That could have been an absolute shit of a job, to be honest. Right. Let's see if we can get one more bit of luck going our way. Jeez, come on, mate. You can do it. I think it's, there we are, it's just stuck on that sort of ball. It's not melted, but it is melted, but it's deliberately melted. It's not a failure melt kind of thing. Anyway. Oh, perfect. That is excellent. Not concerned about that sticking out. It's already earth anyway. It doesn't matter. It doesn't look particularly tidy, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so the two browns need connecting to the brown. That's where it had failed previously. And the greens need taking up to that little eyelet. Now, obviously, we can't use that eyelet, but we need to find another eyelet. Or maybe we could use that eyelet, actually. I could maybe solder it all together. Let's take it out of the bulb holders. So let's cut it there, look. At least they're sort of still semi-usable in the future. Should anybody want to. Wow, shrapnel. Okay, we have some wiring to do. I think these are a bit on the long side, to be fair, so let's cut it off there. And let's cut it off. Jeez, I'd like to get rid of that stuff, but I don't know, maybe we can. Let's just risk it. What the hell? Yeah, there was plenty of extra on the lead going down to the headlights, so that doesn't matter too much. We can see if we can pull that through a bit and get some, save the sheathing. No. Okay, let's just pull that off. I'm going to have to edit the crap out of this section, aren't I? It's taking ages. Okay. See if now we can pull it down. There she goes. Okay, that works. Gives us a bit more to work with. Let's tidy up the ends. Okay, we've got some soldering to do. I hate soldering on camera. There we go. There's going to be lots of editing going on. Now I chucked some heat shrink down there, look. So once it's soldered, we can slide that up. Hopefully it won't activate beforehand. We can try and keep it cool enough. Super fast at warming up these little guns, aren't they? There you go, that's that one. Try and save me solder. Now, yeah, I'm probably one of the worst solderers on YouTube, so feel free to comment if you like water off a duck's back to me. Just blowing on it to cool it down really quickly. Right, that's all right. That works. I don't mind that. We'll go with that. It's good enough in my book. Right, heat shrink over the top. A nice colour, actually, matches, which is good. Done. Right, I'll get the rest finished off and then we'll get it installed. Oakley dokley. So, time to refit stuff. We'll get that on there first, I think. Star screwdriver. Where the hell's that gone? Well, this is half a star. It'll do the trick, won't it? There we go. That's that one in. Right. New bulbs required. There's one. That's in. There he is, look. Stick him in there. Okay, silicone spray. Just a little bit on the rubber. Try and keep it off the bulb if we can. And then we'll pop him in there. Come on, mister, you can do it. Oh, it's going. There he is. That's that one. Right, number two. Oh, we're nearly there now, aren't we? The powers of editing. Coolio. Now I just want to try and tidy up all this wiring so it's all inboard a bit more. Not the neatest job I've ever done, but still, end of the day, not horrific. Right, so we can just move this down there a bit more. There we go. And then we can get the cover, and it went through the D-shaped bit. No grommets, just wires hanging out. Stick that down there. Yeah, there we go, look. Better, I think. And by doing that, Alan can just fit a grommet from the outside in there, if we can get those wires pushed down enough. See what's going on. Third time. Right, so let's see if we can just run that down there. Try and keep all these wires away from the outside if we can. Oh, I see, because that earth thingamajig's in the way, isn't it? I might have to try and find a grommet. It looks pants. Definitely needs a grommet in there. I will see what I can find. There we go. Should be enough clearance now for the grommet to go underneath. Let me have a look. Well, I've had a rummage around. I've found this one, which it is used. It has got a little slit in it, but it looks a lot better with that in there. If it's going to go in, so cross your fingers. It might be a bit too big. I just don't know. Right, a bit of silicone on there just to help us ease it in again. It must have something in there normally. I mean, to be fair, even if it bulges a little bit, I'm not bothered. It's just going to help to seal it. Oh, that's not too bad. There we go. How's that? Is that better? Does that get the approval mark? Does it get the ting thumbs up? I don't know. To me, that looks a million times better than it was. Right. I guess we should go and try and put this all back together now. Okay. Should be about there, to be fair. Right, this is not going to be pretty. I'm not looking forward to it. I didn't enjoy it last time. Last time I did it on the bench, not on the bike, because the triple clamp was already off, so this is not going to work easily. It could end up in disaster. This is where you definitely need three hands, to be perfectly honest. And things do move around when you're trying to screw them in as well, so it might take a few attempts. Oh, God. Hey, we might have got it. Right, let's go check alignment. Okay, I'll go with that. Hopefully. Don't round the screw off, at least one of the most obvious screws on the bike. There we go. Whew. Okay. Thread the wire through, I think, and get that plugged in, and then just do a double test, double check. Now, what was it? It was brown to brown, sorry, brown with a white tracer to brown with a red tracer, for some reason. And green to green. There we go. Right, in theory, it should now work. And then if it does, we can put the headlight back in. Ah! Jeez, it's dark in here. Right, ignition going on. Oh yes, it's fixed. Whew. Fantastic stuff. Very, very pleased to get that one sorted out. And the fact we only had to do one of the clocks. And the grommet we fitted looks a lot better at least. Okay, headlight time. Don't drop the headlight, Andy. That would be bad. Now, it usually says top on these things, doesn't it? Well, there's the word Wagner. So we'll put Mr. Wagner at the top. There he is. Right, let's plug that on there. Not particularly tight, is it? Okay. And now we've got to gingerly get this back in without crushing too many wires. Are they all in? I think they're all in. Okay, need a screw. We always need a screw. Right. Okay, that's that one in. Let's do this side over here. Oh, it sort of lines up as well, which is pretty good. That's two. Right, round the other side. Three. Hey, this is going to plan. It really is, and we didn't scratch the headlight either when we dropped the Speedo on it. Way nearly. That's that one. That's that one. Last one. Dot slip, dot slip, dot slip. Done. Bloody good. Shiny look. No, that's Alan's job, not mine. Right. Well, that was an interesting one, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure I'll have edited the vast majority of that out this video because a bit of a ball ache job, to be honest. A bit fiddly. Some of the wires are a bit old and corroded. Wasn't particularly happy with it, but it looks good at the end of it and it works. So 90% thumbs up, I think. Okay, I've got probably 5 minutes left. Maybe just enough time to put those little rubbers on the end of the brake lever and the clutch lever, hopefully. Here we go. Ooh, we can get rid of that now, and we can get rid of that, and we can get rid of that. Fantastic. Hey, there really is not much left at all now, look. Ooh, shiny tank. Shiny side panels. Right. That's what we need, those two. Okay, wish me luck. Worst case scenario, the rubber will rip down here as it goes on because this has got to stretch a fair way, but we'll give it the best possible chance. A bit of Scotch-Brite, not the 3M stuff, way too expensive, but it is Scotch-Brite nonetheless. or similar products. We'll just give it a bit of a wipe. Try and reduce the friction as much as we can, so making it a smooth surface. Right, bit of silicone spray, our friend. Bit of silicone spray in there, our friend again. Now there is a possibility we could stick it in some hot water as well, that would actually help. But we'll give it a go first. And see if we can just get it to go. Oh yes, look at that. And the silicone will eventually evaporate away and that'll be just fine, but that's cool, I like that. Right, one more to go. Same again, Sam. Now this lever is slightly bent, so Alan might have to replace it if they pick up on it during compliance inspection, but I think knowing Alan and the way he talks to people, and he gets pretty sure he can talk his way through it. Alan is a salesman through and through, you know, he's a top bloke, but he knows how to talk, he sure does. Right, bit of silicone again. Silicone's our friend at the moment. Okay, here we go. Is it going to be 2 for 2? I don't know. This appears to be a slightly larger ball. There we go. Fantastic. Looks nice and neat now, doesn't it? Right, it is 3:45 in the afternoon. I have basically run out of things that I can do on this bike until I go and get that brake fluid. All I've got is a couple of new Flexi pipes to fit to the front brake system, a couple of new banjos to fit, a new banjo boot to do, and then we've basically got the fuel tank to go on, the seat to go on with the pivot pins, and before the seat goes on we've got the side panels to fit, and then it's done. We are this close. In fact, if this was the whole project, we are a hair's width away from being finished, because there's been a shit ton of work gone into this bike. The pliers. I nearly forgot about those. Okay, right. I'll see you in a few seconds, which will actually be tomorrow. Over and out. Now then, crew, some good news. We have cider. Excellent. I know, somewhere in the world it's beer o'clock, isn't it? Oh, cheers, anyway. Good job, Spates. Not a sponsor, but they can be. We also have the required brake fluid from Castrol. .4. Perfect. Okay, right, let's head over to the bike and get this brake pipe replaced. In fact, 2 brake pipes replaced. Here we go. First thing before we start to undo anything is to try our very best to protect all this nice shiny new paintwork from brake fluid, because, well, it would be a catastrophe, wouldn't it? For those of you who don't know, brake fluid destroys most paints, and most likely the paint that's on this one. Right, I have a plan. Just for now, I have a blanking piece that I'm going to chuck up here to replace this one, just while we get the rest of the system replaced, and then that way we shouldn't leak out too much fluid. That's the plan. It might change. Okay, let's get that off there. I will be replacing these later on. This is just from an old brake pipe, just blanked off, so it's pretty good. So we'll stick that back in there for now, because that'll be the last connection that we make. Well, almost the last connection that we make, actually. But it'll just stop it from dripping everywhere. There we go. Didn't spill any hardly, did we? Pretty good. Okay. Happy with that. I don't think we'll have any problems. Okay, let's remove that towel out of the way again. And I think I might just put a little bag over the end of there with a zip tie, just to be on the safe side, because there is still fluid in there and it might splash out onto some of the paintwork. Right, so we can get rid of that boot, because that's going to get replaced anyway. Look at that, a Honda bag for an old Honda brake pipe. Now I know the zip tie is probably 10 times too big, but it's a good one. And it'll allow me to get plenty of pressure on there. Plus, it's pretty much the only ones I have at the moment. There we go. Where's my Snickers? Excellent. Right, let's work our way down to the next union. Ha! How's that for a shot? Right, that Flexi pipe comes down to a cast unit here, where it then joins the next Flexi to head down to the brake caliper. So we need to undo that banjo bolt there next. Now I've put a towel down above the mudguard. I don't think there's much risk of getting paint on the actual paint, sorry, any brake fluid on the paintwork on this particular one, but it is going to leak, as you can see. Where's my little rag? Let's just stick that under there and try and catch some of that brake fluid. Right. Can you see? You can see far better than I can at the moment. Try not to get in the way of the camera for you. There we go. And again, you know, be conscious where you're putting your fingers, because you don't want to put brake fluid or transfer brake fluid onto the paintwork, because I know it would end in disaster if we did that. Right, that's that banjo, oh geez, out of the way. Very slippy. Right, quick look around to make sure there's no brake fluid on the paint. Oh, I think we're good. Right, I can now retract that brake pipe, and I'm going to bring it out through the bottom. That's the plan, so that we minimise the risk of any brake fluid dripping off again onto the paint. Really conscious about this paintwork at the moment. Treat it like a brand new bike. Almost forgot one of the old copper washers. We'll just retract that. There we go. Now, I just realised that there's 3 banjo bolts, and well, we only ordered 2. So I'm going to have to raid my stocks and see if I've got a new one of the that'll meet this spec in stock for my own stuff. Because it doesn't really want to go together with an old bolt, ideally. Although I suppose I could always give it a clean up and paint it. Or we could use the older one up there where you can't see. Possibly that'll save the day. Right, that's that one out of the way. Just pull that through and off the bike, or away from the bike. There we go. Because that is definitely dripping. And we'll give that a bit of a dab down. Now I have already previously cleaned up the mating surfaces, because I've already had these pipes off in the past, and they decided later on that we really need to change them. There we go. Right, down to the caliper. Oakley dokley. Well, this is the current connection between the rigid pipe that goes off to the caliper and the lower flexi. There we go. That's not too bad. Now I actually made up a new rigid flexi for this because the old one was in a terrible state. So that's all brand new. Made from conifer from England. Can't buy that stuff over here. It's secret. Special stuff. And then we can swap that across onto the new pipe on the bench. Excellent stuff. Right, to the bench. Time for another drink, I reckon. Oh, you can't beat cider. Okay, let's get that little bracket taken off. Ooh, there's not really a lot of room in there, is there? Okay, I wonder if we can pull the banjo through first and then take the grommet out. Well, we don't need to remove the grommet then, do we? There we go. That's an easier way of doing it. Okay, that's not too bad. We can reuse that, obviously. We haven't got any spares anyway, so that's ready to go back on. Let's compare the two Flexi pipes now, just to make sure they actually match up with what's been supplied. If they don't, we've got a problem. Okay, what do we need? We need that one and that one for now. Right, let's crack on. Okay, we'll get rid of that because we're not on the bike anymore. Jeez, did a good job tightening that, the Mr. Young. There we go, more mess. Okay, that's the top one. We'll put it at the top. That's the bottom one. What have we got? Oh, it comes with a new rubber, that one. Right, okay, so this is the top one. And this is made by Tormax, and the part number is, this is the upper one, CBL-102 from Brake Hose. Upper, in brackets. Excellent. Okay, I'll pop that out of there. All looks pretty promising. Now, the end with the bend. Let's just compare that. Are we on camera? Just compare the end with the bend. That looks pretty good. Happy with that. Slightly longer, but that's not a problem. Okay, turning it around, and I just want to line up the angle of that first one, just to make sure, because obviously you don't want to twist these things. Although this one is quite, the original is quite badly twisted. Yeah, looks near enough. Quite happy with that. Okay, so we've got the upper done. So we can get rid of the old one. And this is the lower. So let's pull that one out of the bag. Oh, hang on, part number. Where's the part number? This one is labelled David Silver Spares. Brake hose, reference 45125-300-003P, quantity 1 piece. This is the brake hose lower for the CB750 K2, hopefully. Okay, let's open the bag, pull it out, get rid of the bag. Okay, so what have we got? Looks pretty good to me, and identical at that end as well. Same threads, and it's also a convex fitting inside. That's good. It means that our fixed hose, the rigid hose that I made up, will also still work with the new Flexi pipe. We also have a new rubber to go into there, which is brilliant. So we can get rid of that one. Dum dum dum, because that is quite perished. It's also cracked in places. Yeah, look, it's knackered now. And if we just gingerly extract that off there, the other option is to bend that bracket, and it looks to me like somebody has already crimped it to try and grab hold of that. So maybe we should just ease it back open, because that should be a circle. At the moment it's not, it's more of an oval. Where's my pliers? Okay, let's see if we can do it without the vise. I don't know. Luckily all this bit's hidden behind, so it doesn't matter too much if I damage the chrome. Nope, it's going to be a vice job. Bugger. Now, we are using the aluminium jawed vise, so we're not going to cause any harm to the chrome. Clamp that in there. Get our pliers. And the bend is right up here actually, so I'm just going to ease that open. I reckon that's probably enough. We can always squish it back up again. It's not too far off a circle now. Don't want to go too far. Right, let's see if we can get that rubber popped into there. Okay, here goes. I'd rather not use silicone if I can help it, because it's going to make it pop out a bit easier. Well, that's not bad. It's a bit of a loose, sorry about the clicking noise, it's the end of the pipe. Let me just nip that up a fraction in the vise. Okay, almost where it started, to be honest. Now it goes on the bike like that, if I remember rightly. That's the outside. So it's going to be a lot tighter now, but it should, there we are. Perfect, it's gripping it a lot better. There's no chance of that falling out of there now. So we've got the bolt. That can go back on the bike. Hoo-hoo! Chum! Right, just to make things easy, I think we'll try, well, we will connect the union first and then mount the bracket. because we don't want to chew the, misalign the threads. You can't see very much at the moment. There we go. Right, we'll nip that up. In fact, actually we can't at this point in time. We need that to be able to rotate, because it's going to affect the positioning of that banjo at the top on that casting. So we need that to stay loose for now. We'll nip it up in a minute. Let's get the bracket on. Wow, that, I would expect that to be sat on there actually, rather than, don't want to start bending my my rigid pipe. Can I get that rubber to go down onto the crimped part? Maybe a little bit of silicone might help, just on the metal. Okay, silicone won't have the rubber anyway. Okay, I'm just going to take it off again. See if we can get that over that bit. There we go. It would certainly give it more purchase as well, and it would tighten up that unit, that grommet. So let me go and do that in the vise. I'll be back shortly. Honestly, so much easier in the vise. Took about 3 seconds to do that. Okay, let's get that thread back in again. Maybe this time you can actually see something rather than just the back of my hands. That's better, isn't it? Okay, bolt in. Just start it off by hand. There we go. Coolio. Remind me, I've got to tighten that union up. Very important, obviously. There we go. Well, let's not over tighten it. Okay, next job, to mount this end of the flexi pipe onto that casting, that midway casting. Right, flexi pipe, and it's, you can adjust the angle, it's all nice and free, which is good. I've grabbed one of the new banjo bolts, so we'll stick that through there, and I've also got a couple of new washers, copper washers, so we'll stick that in there. Please be the right threads. It should be. There we go. Phew. Okay, so align that. Twizzle that up there. Get that tightened up by hand. Wow, it's looking pretty good actually. Now, we need a 14mm spanner again, just to nip that up. Good camera angles today, Andy. Oh, thanks. No problem at all. Now, don't go all gorilla on these. They don't need thousands of Newton meters of torque. There we go. That should do the trick. Obviously, we'll check for leaks later on. That looks pretty good. Right, now the top hose. Okay, we're going in. Now, make sure that you orientate the top end of the hose correctly. This curvature should follow the curve of the handlebars to facilitate good approach to the master cylinder banjo connection. Now, I'm going to thread that down from the top so it should come into view. Just want to get the angle bang on right for onto that union, so the pipe's not twisted in any way. There we go. And the angle's right, so we'll get the new banjo bolt in. There we go. Tell me if you can't see anything, won't you? Jeez. Excellent. Right, we'll twizzle that round now. I just want to double check that the top is orientated correctly, but I'll just start these threads if I can. Where's my spanner? Now, obviously, absolutely critical that we don't cross-thread this, or lose that washer, the inner washer. Jeez, okay, this is not easy. Much easier to take the thing out than put it back in again. Oh yes, he's done it. What a pro. Okay, a few turns in, let's check the top to make sure the orientation's correct. Let's have a look. Yes, perfect. The curve is in that direction. If it was the other way around, it would obviously, the pipe would come down into the bars and that wouldn't work. So we are correct. We can fit that shortly. But let's go back down and tighten that bottom one up. Hey, it's all going quite well at the moment. I mean, I need it to go well, there's no doubt, but hang on, ratchet spanner, bear with me. That's more like it, Andy. Right, but forgive the thumb. I need to provide some resistance because these are nice new shiny bolts and they're pretty easy on the threads at the moment. Oh, it's changing tone, I might be getting there. There we go. Right, we'll lose that spanner and we'll use the real one. The one with a bit more feel to it, just for tweaking up. Okay, so we are located correctly in the casting with the output of the banjo fitting. Okay, just applying the torque now. That'll do. No more than that. Excellent. Right, up to the top. We are a banjo bolt down. Bit of a shame, but I just want to see if I have a new replacement for my own stock. I don't know how long this one is. It might be the same as the others. It might be a bit shorter. It could be of a different thread. Right, to the bench. Okay, I found the last two copper washers actually in stock. Looking at these old ones here, they are massive and realistically way too big because, you know, over half of that washer is not doing anything at all. It's not even in contact with anything, so pretty ugly. So we'll get rid of those. We don't want those. We're going to use those nice new ones, which you should do anyway. And I want to see if I've got one of these banjo bolts in stock. So let's dig out my old kit. Here we go. Look, this is what's this, factory image. This is from England from years and years ago for making up brake pipes and stuff. So I've got all the various fittings and stuff. Now this is the banjo bolt, the old one. And now they're all pretty short. We've got the right, look at the state of that. That's just corroded in the box. Must have got damp at some point. Most annoying. Okay, so is that the right thread? It is. Does it have the right distance at the top? It should do. It's all pretty standard. Yeah, it has when you line up the base of the head, which is where it would sit. But it only has about half the length of threads. So I don't want to use that because it's going to put a lot of stress on the threads in the master cylinder, and it might actually pull the threads and tighten it up because don't forget this thing's 50 years old. So I think we're going to stick with the old one, and there's a rubber boot to go over, which means that this one's hidden anyway and it isn't going to cause a problem. The good news is we've got some more copper washers, which is, you know, critical. You should always replace these. They don't cost very much. Buy a bag of 20 and then you've got them for a while, and always replace them every time you undo them. Right, back to the bike. Silicon's our friend at the moment, isn't it? Right, a bit of silicon in there, a bit on the outside of the actual banjo. And that should slide over there nicely now, hopefully. Yes, look at that. See, it makes the job so easy. Right, we'll slide that down to Flexi. And now we need the banjo and the two copper washers. Okay, copper washer number 1 going on through said banjo. Copper washer number 2. There we go, look. Oh, it's going to look so good with this new Flexi pipe on it. I'll show you the problems with the old Flexi once we've got this bolted up, which is in about 10 seconds time, hopefully. We're not far away at all, are we? Right, where's my spanner? So I just want to angle it so it follows the line of the bars down. Now again, don't go all gorilla on it. There we go, that's enough. Right. I'm going to leave that big rag in place because I've got to bleed the whole thing up, and again I might spill some brake fluid when I'm doing that. Hopefully not, but you know, you never know. Right. That's all cleaned off, and now the new boot can come up and go over all of that. There we go, look, how's that? Lovely jubbly. Excellent job. Ooh, don't forget to tighten this one up. Now, can't turn that one, otherwise it'll cause a kink in the Flexi. We can only turn the union on the fixed pipe. If we can get the spanner on. It's not the easiest thing to do. What the hell's going on here? There we are, that's one. Honda don't give you a lot of room. Get off, jeez. There we go, she's tightening up now. That'll do, Gromit. Now, obviously I've still got to bleed that up. I'm not going to do that to camera because we did do a front brake bleed on one of the previous episodes in this series, so there's no point in repeating myself. But before I sign this particular job off and move on to the next step of putting this bike back together, let's take a look at the old Flexi pipes and I'll explain why they had to be replaced. There we go, bit of light on the matter. Okay, so this is the lower Flexi, and if I just give that a bit of a flex, pardon the pun, where's my pointy stick? That'll do. There are surface cracks around here. Now, sure enough, you can't see the cords, but it is an indication that the rubber is extremely old and starting to perish. And if that's bad on the outside, it can also be very bad on the inside. I once had on a Nissan Patrol a case of the inside the pipe breaking down and a rubber flap developed inside. So when you applied the brake, the flap was pushed back and fluid would flow to the caliper. When you released the brake pedal, the flap would come back and block the brake pipe, causing residual pressure in the caliper and keeping the brake on. And it took me ages to work out what the problem was. I rebuilt the caliper, and then eventually I thought, I'll just change the Flexi. I reckon there's a problem with that. And I did that, and it fixed the problem. So I cut the Flexi down just in little slithers, and eventually I found this little flap on the inside. What we can do is we can cut this, because this is scrap. We can cut this and take a look and see what the condition on the inside is like, because, you know, it's not ideal. Looking at the other one of the reasons why this was replaced was obviously we've got some pretty serious corrosion going on. Somebody's put a rubber band on there to try and hide it. There's a lot of corrosion around the actual crimp as well, which is bad. That could cause failure. And of course it's building up now on the banjo as well. So for this bike going through certification, that would definitely be a fail on the cert. At this end, this is the master cylinder end. Not as bad, to be honest. That probably would still pass. It's got some surface corrosion, but the crimp still looks pretty good. But if we look down the pipe, there's a lot of surface damage. You see there, look, there's some rubbing gone on the surface. So that's really bad. You know, it's another reason for failure. So, on this one here as well, if I just try and get this to show you, you can see on the crimp in there, we've got where the rubber's completely separated. The outer's gone. It's not part of the actual pipe anymore. You know, it's not being crimped. It's all split around that point. So again, it's lost its strength. And under pressure, there's a good chance this pipe would swell excessively, and you get spongy breaks. I mean, you can see I can easily, oh yeah, look, I can easily dig down to the inside, which is, it's not good. But let's cut this one open and see what kind of condition it's like on the inside. Right, so let's get rid of the mat, because I don't want to destroy my Teng Tools mat, because you can't get them anymore. Unfortunately, not in this country anyway. So we'll get rid of that. That can live for another day. Bring Torchy back. Hopefully you can see what's going on. It's a bit dark. Right, first of all we're going to cut that end off there. Jeez, it's pretty tough. And yes, it is a new sharp blade. There we go. Okay. So that's what you get on the inside of a brake pipe. We've got the inner rubber. We've got some pretty extensive braiding which supports that inner and stops it from swelling, because don't forget there's a huge pressure down these brake pipes. And then we've got the outer protective layer rubber again around the outside. Now here in New Zealand, if any of this braiding can be seen from the outside, it's an instant fail for the vehicle inspection. It's also extremely bad, to be honest. But the problem I had with the last one is a bit of this internal pipe rubber had broken off due to, you know, perishing or whatever. It had broken off and it ended up working as a valve, a one-way valve inside the pipe, which is most bizarre. But if we cut that down, don't want to spend too long on this, but it's interesting. If we cut that down there, flick it over and cut it down there. There we go. We can probably peel that back. Hopefully it won't involve too much blood. There we go. So it's even better. Look at that. Right. So we can peel all that back. And we can do the same with this. So that's the outer rubber together with some of the braiding, which is nice. We'll get rid of that. And what I'm interested in isn't so much the condition of the braiding, and to be fair, it did break off pretty easy actually. What I'm interested in is the condition of the inner rubber. So we'll just get rid of that. On camera, Andy, on camera. So we'll do the same again. So obviously there's two layers of braiding on this one. It's not often I do this, to be fair. And you know, it is interesting. And we are near the end of the video, so it's nice to do something a bit different. Let's see if we can shave that off. Three layers of braiding. What the hell, Honda? Mind you, I have no idea if this is the original brake line, flexi brake pipe from new. It might. I don't know. I just don't know. I wonder if we can maybe cut round it. Tell you what, if we cut that off completely. There we go. See if we can pull that through. If I can just... Jeez, that didn't last very long. No, that's not going to happen. Can we get that braiding off? I just want the rubber. I want to see what kind of condition that rubber's in. Oh, there, we're getting there now. There we go. That's what we want. Right, there is... Oh, geez, nearly. The inner. Let's go again a bit further down here. Right, that'll do. We've got enough. So we even cut that open. So I want to have a look on the inside. And just have a look at the condition. Now, yeah, sure, it's got, you know, blade slices in it and stuff. There you go. Is it in good nick? it doesn't look too bad actually. It's a million times better than the one that I had on my Nissan Patrol. That was all. It was actually quite crumbly on the inside, where the rubber was actually just breaking down. So I think we dodged a bullet with this one. It was actually still, you know, it wasn't going to fail, but it was a fail for the inspection. Does that make sense? Right. Rubbish for the bin. Right, my next job is to bleed up the front brake system. I'll do that, and then we've got the fuel tank, side panels and seat to fit. See you shortly. This bike has continuously bitten me all the way through this project, and we were so close. So close. I came to bleed up the front brake system and the threads in the caliper body for the bleed nipple. Yes, you guessed it. They stripped, and I wasn't being rough. The bleed nipple did feel a little bit loose in there anyway. Clearly they were badly worn, and then there weren't any, and it wouldn't tighten up. I was just getting the last little bit of air out of the system. It was feeling really good on the lever, and then spinny spin spin, and then drippy drip drip. Couldn't stop the brake fluid coming out. Absolute catastrophe. Now I could have filmed the fix. The reason why I didn't film the fix is I was highly skeptical as to whether this fix was going to work or not. I rummaged around my drawer, one of the many 130 odd drawers in the workshop, and I thought I might have a time cert kit, which would be ideal, of the correct thread. That would have been perfect. I didn't. All I had was a recoil kit, which is this one here. So I'm just going to show you the state of my bench, and then I'll show you what it looks like, the final fix, and then I'll tell you if it actually is a fix or not. Here we go. So I went over to my drawer and I had a rummage around. Now I've got this kit. This is for, I bought this actually because the guy I was working for wouldn't pay for it. I said, hey, we need one of these. And he says, nah, I'm not paying for it. Send it out to an engineer's. So I said, no worries, mate. I'll buy it and then I'll charge you for each one that I fix. That little kit has made me a fortune. Well done, little kit. And then I found this one. Oh, look, Moorland Adventure. My old business in England. Wow. So I found that one, and that's a M8 by 1.25. That's the wrong thread. And then I found this time cert one. Another time cert. Can I do one-handed? No. M8 by 1.25. Okay, so we've got two of them. Wow, a time cert and a helicoil or recoil kit. And then, luckily enough, I found this M10 by 1mm. Just so happens to be the thread of the bleed nipple. I did have a look in my drawers, and I do remember from England, from the Suzuki calipers we did on the little Jeeps, we had some more bleed nipples. So I thought, maybe I can use one of those in conjunction with the new threads, but it's not long enough. It's nowhere near long enough, so that went back in the drawer with his friends. And then I put the caliper in the pillar drill, and I went down with a 10mm drill. Didn't really do anything. There was nothing there to drill. All the material had been ripped out. And then I looked at the tap that came with this kit, and it also had on the end of it the M10 by 1. And of course it's a blind hole. That was no good. So then I took that tap and I put it in my vise, and I used my angle grinder and I cut off, there it is, look. I cut off the end. Modifying tools. Oh well, such is life. So then we had a blind tap of the correct thread, which was great. So I tapped it out, and then I found that the recoils, or helicoils if you want to call them that, just different brand, the helicoil is too long. So I had to cut it down. And there's the bit that I didn't use. I snipped it off using my side cutters. And then, oh, hang on, jumped a bit. And then I used the little tool and put the shortened helicoil onto the little tool with the tang down the bottom, as you're supposed to do. And you know what? It bloody worked. I really didn't think it would. It's not the tidiest. It is protruding a little bit from here. My recommendation to Alan will be, Alan, buy a new caliper body and a new bleed nipple, because, and the reason for this is, the threads in that one are not the world's greatest either. So, 50 years of having the brakes bled many times has obviously been too much. But the good news is, we do have a good lever. Look at that, see? That's quite a lot of force on there, and it's not creeping. Because it took me a while to get it to seal. But I did get it to seal, so I'm quite happy with that. So I'm not going to touch it anymore. That's it. It's done. It's finished. So my apologies I didn't take you on that journey. It did involve a lot of swearing and cursing, which is the same thing, but probably just different words. Frustration. I had many phone calls to deal with in between the many steps of trying to solve the problem. Not really a fan of helicoils or recoils, especially, sorry, there's the brand, Recoil. I didn't make it up. Especially in that kind of application where you're undoing and doing up the bleed nipple many times during a bleeding process. Helicoils are really meant just as a tighten the bolt up, forget about it, that's it. It's not, a time cert would have been a lot better. Could I have made something on the lathe and then inserted it into the caliper body? Yes, I could, but it's now 5:25. I don't have the time. I've got to crack on. And ultimately, Alan needs to buy a new outer part of that caliper body anyway, so it's only a stopgap. And then when it turns up, I can just swap the bits across. We'll probably get a new piston, some new seals at the same time, because I didn't replace the piston on the tidy up. It wasn't even a rebuild, it was just a tidy up and a new bracket for the caliper because it was all worn on the pivot pin. So, nothing lost. Anyway, I have actually still got, no, it's not brake fluid, it is actually cider. I did double check because I had nearly picked up the brake fluid bottle. Cheers. That was well deserved. Probably took me about an hour to sort that problem out, and I reckon there was a very high chance it wasn't going to work, and it did only just work. Okay, so I'm going to crack on, get the fuel tank popped on. I don't think I need to find any more rubbers and stuff, they're already back on the bike, so we can get the fuel tank put on, and the side panels. What's going to be first? Fuel tank, I think, then side panels, and then the seat. It still needs a new battery. That's on order, picking that up tomorrow. That'll need a charge, but Alan can do that. But the bike actually, no, I can do that, because the bike actually isn't going back to Auckland until Sunday night. But I don't have any more time to work on it after today, other than fit a battery. I've got 5 minutes for that. So let's crack on, because tea won't be far away. Here we go. It's been over a year since this tank's been fitted. There we go. Here we are. Jeez, it's pouring down again. We'll get rid of this sediment trap. That should give us a little bit more room to get the pipes on. Now, let's have that one first. There's 2 outlets, both exactly the same. So we'll pop that on there. And then see if we can move the light on first. I think we're there. Where's Torchy? There he is. Yep, we're there. Right, said Fred. You guys can't really see this. It's a little bit too tight. Right, I just need to wiggle that up a bit higher. And I've got to keep it away from the linkage as well. Jeez, it's not easy. Oh, that's going to foul the linkage. Oh, man. Honestly, every single step of the way. It might just be alright. The tank's about central. Man, there's not a lot of room in there. No room at all. Dear God. Bring that round a bit. Seriously, this is tight. Right, I've got to do the clamp up and I've got to try and twist it away from the linkage. Bloody hell. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I think we're going to be okay at that. Because the tank will drop down slightly more to where it is now. Well, we'll find out. Okay, we've got one more to do. Okay. Second pipe. This one should be slightly easier, he says. What's that? Sorry, I've got to keep going in the way. There we go. Okay. Missed the screwdriver socket thing. Now, there's no clearance issues on this side, I don't think, so we're all good. Let's have a little look. How does that look? Let's find out. Dum, 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 dum. Okay, you can see how close it is to the linkage just behind there, look. If I twist the throttle, you can see there's movement. Be very, very careful against there. And this side, yeah, that's alright. Just needs a bit of a tweak up and then we're good. So what I'll do is I'll lower it down now, get it fitted into the big grommet rubber mount at the back, and then we'll see how it sits. Fingers crossed. That'll do grommets. Right, should we put the float bolt, the sediment bowl in now? I think we should do, shouldn't we? Stick that in there because it'd be easier now than later. Look at these new ones are these. But they weren't cheap, so maybe next time. You can't replace the whole bike, otherwise what's the point? There we go. Okay, a bit of wood coming out. And I'll stick it in that grommet. Where's my silicone spray? 2. There we go. Right, tank is on. How does that look for clearance? Holy moly, we are good. Very close, but no touchy. Side panels are next. Now, I did order from, it's reminding me now, I did order from David Silver new grommets that the little nipples on the side panels click into that are mounted on the frame. They're not here. They haven't turned up. There's something missing from the order. I'm sure we paid for them. So I can't fit them. I'll have to just send them an email and say, "Oi, where's the rest of me bits, donkey?" Okay, side panels. Jeez, we're super careful with these. Oh, it's got oil in it. That's good. Let's stick that over there. It's pretty clean actually as well. I had contemplated giving it an oil change before it goes back, but in all honesty, oh God, I hate doing that. Right, bottom one. Where's that silicone spray? Lifesaver. That's it. She's on. Down comes the rain again. Right, to the side. Man, this one's had some repairs done. Look at that. I mean, looks great on the outside, but look at that on the inside. Like loads of resin in there just to try and reinforce it because it was all cracked. Okay. Very, very, very careful, Andy. Don't want to go breaking it. Let's do the bottom down first. There we go. Jeez. That's that one. That's that one. Cool. Right, said Fred, one seat to go on. And just by the way, every single connector and a lot of the wiring on this bike has been replaced. Right, so we get that one through first. Gee, that's a bit short. Maybe that's that one. Maybe they're actually handed. I have no idea. Yes, that'll work for that one. Not sure if these are actually the original bolts, to be honest. It might have pins and little split pins, but anyway, there we go. That's that one in. Trying to do it so you get a good view. Okay. One. Now, can I get in from here? Probably can. Just. There we go. Now I need a tightening device of some kind. Okay, we'll try and work away from the camera for you. That's not going to fit. Jeez. Let's try that. And it's not ideal. I'd much rather see pins and R-clips for this kind of stuff rather than nuts and bolts. But I'm not too sure what the standard spec is, in all honesty. Hang on, swap the spanners. Can't use the ratchet end because it's too big. I would love to use the ratchet end, believe me. Okay. Yeah, I stole Holly's battery just to check those bulbs in the Speedo yesterday. So that's not the battery that's going to be in the bike when it's delivered back to Alan. I have to pick the new battery up. Right, that's good. That's through the nylock. Excellent. Right, let's just do the same on this side. Who would have thought fitting a seat would be so enthralling? I mean, you know, Mrs. Mechanic came outside about 10 minutes ago while I was draining the old fuel out of the fuel tank, and she had a cider and a packet of cigarettes in her hands. And I turned her away. I said, "Nope, I have to finish this bike." Plus, you can't smoke out here because, you know, you'll cause an explosion. Please. Wow, look at that. You think it's over? Look at that bike. It's shiny. It's nice. It's not even been polished yet. Not that I'll be doing it. I'll just give it a quick clean with a clean rag, and that's as good as it's going to get, because it's going to be trailered up to Auckland. That's 3 hours of driving, probably in the rain, the way the weather's going at the moment. We are not done. We're not. There's still this thing, which is to do with the odometer, and I have no idea how it fits on because I can't find a little stalk thing sticking out, so that might just go into Alan's random box of bits. But a revelation. Yes, I've been saving this right to the end of the video. This is the last video, so this is the last bit of the last video, end of the series. Do you remember the controversy over the little washers in the top triple clamp? The two clamps that go around the forks on the Honda one, which is over here. Hang on. Jeez, I'm sort of organised, but not brilliantly. You remember we replaced this because it was broken. It was broken here, and we investigated what looked like a bit of welding on here, and it turned out it had already been broken and welded at this side. So we fitted a new one to the bike. Now, on the Honda part, and that's this one, the genuine Honda, in between the clamps, because it had a problem in the past of these clamps, the failing because of fracturing, they issued a requirement to fit some little tiny spacer washers. Now these are what we call a D-washer, and there's a picture of one with some basic dimensions. Look at that, pretty cool. And the idea was that would prevent customers from over-tightening the clamp. The torque setting for that was 9 Newton meters. It was the lowest torque setting I've ever come across for the top clamp around a fork, and they've done that. They've reduced it down, I'm sure, because they had high failure rates of this bracket. So my question was, when we bought the aftermarket triple clamp, did it require these washers? Yes or no? And we had a bit of banter with some of the regular viewers on the Sunday live streams, and I did lots of emails to various producers of aftermarket triple clamps trying to get them to confirm, does it need the washers or not? And the fact that the original washers, the original Honda washers, which is these two, would not fit in the gap, gave me the impression that you couldn't use them, because you can't splay the clamp open and fit the washer, because then it won't clamp the fork. You know what I mean? So it was a bit dumb. Anyway, long story short, I got an email yesterday afternoon from the supplier of that triple clamp saying, no mate, you don't need to fit the washers. That was it. One line, about 7 or 8 words, job done. But I waited 6 months for that. So it's official. If you're buying an aftermarket triple clamp for the CB750 K2, which would normally have those little stupid washers in between the clamps, just here, then you don't need them. That's the official word from the aftermarket supplier. However, I would strongly recommend, because there are a number of different aftermarket suppliers of these triple clamps, I would strongly recommend that when you place the order, it's at that point in time you get written confirmation, yes or no. Otherwise, you won't know. So we can now take out of that new triple clamp, the aftermarket one, the little tiny washers that I made to fill in the gap, because they're not needed. But at that time, I didn't know. And I spent ages making them because they're really small and fiddly. And they're an exact thickness. The ones that I made, I think, were, oh yes, 2.28 millimeters. And that was based on the original triple clamp. I'm waffling now. But the original triple clamp, and it turned out they wouldn't even fit. So I had to change it to something else, and then they fit. But it was just a joke, really. It just was never going to work. Anyway, let's go and take them out. Right, rag over the tank, don't want to damage that. That wouldn't go down well at all. As you can see, they are not tight in any, thank you, in any way, shape or form. There we go. And that's the washer. I even painted them because I didn't want them to, you know, look out of place. But we don't need it. Woohoo! I didn't think we did. But some people said we did. And some people said we didn't. And it was a bit of a bone of contention. So that, well, I'll leave them in, I'll make some and I'll leave them in, and then I can take them out. It's a lot easier to take them out than it is to make some later on. Right, this is set to 9 Newton meters. Wait for the click. That's it. That's all you get. Right, to the side. Same again, Sam. This is pretty much the last time I'll be putting a spanner on this bike other than to change the battery. Pretty cool. God, it's been in so many bits. We've done so much to this bike, it's unreal. Although, to be fair, we've not done any engine repairs, just servicing, which is pretty good. Right, there's the old one. The non-required washer. If anybody wants those washers, let me know. They're yours. I will post them to you anywhere in the world, because I don't need them. Right, 9 Newton meters, and then we're good. Let me just reposition so we're not in the way of the camera. That'll do. That's it. Done. I am so happy to have got to this stage. Tired, really tired, but happy. Workshop's a mess again, but we've done it. There's nothing left on the bench. Look, I'll show you. Look, everything has gone. I didn't use those in the end. I wanted to use some proper, because these have lost all the tension anyway, so they can go into Alan's box of bits. But yeah, everything has gone. So we can get rid of all this stuff. It's done. The project is finished. All we've got to wait for now is the battery to go in tomorrow. And then I might try and get some photos with Holly on the bike over the weekend. That's the plan. And then back up to Alan Sunday night. And he can clean it to his heart's content, can he? And then he can ride it, which will be fun. He'll enjoy that. He deserves it. Right, that's it. Bench is clear-ish. So there you go. It is finished. It's been about 14, 15 months since we saw that bike all back together like it is now. And it's a damn sight shinier and better presented. And it has a lot less problems. I won't say it has no problems, but it's bloody good in comparison to what it was when it first turned up. It was actually in a mechanically dangerous condition with the triple clamp and other, well, the front brake was a bit dodgy as well, you know, and it had many electrical faults, wiring, carbs were all gummed up, valve clearances are out, cam chain was loose, you name it, there was problems with that bike. Anyway, new tyres, it runs, it starts. He'll have a lot of fun. So, what do you think about this series? Did you have fun watching it? There's been a lot of videos, that's for sure. A lot of hours put in. Give me some feedback. Tell me how I've done with this bike. Tell me if you have done anything different when you came across the problems that we came across. Because there's more than one way of fixing something. Sure is. Anyway, crew, if you enjoyed this series, and especially this video, then why not click on the subscribe button. Subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, and that way YouTube will give you notifications as and when any new videos go up. You'll also find me on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Feel free to communicate through any of those portals, or probably better still, flick me an email, and I even put my email address down there in the description. So, and it is me that answers the email, nobody else. If I don't get back to you, you're either sat in my spam folder or I've run out of time. Now, if you'd like to support the channel, and many have done over the years, and some still do, which, you know, obviously I'm very grateful for, you know, supporters come and go, it's just the way, it's the nature of the beast, then you can do that through Patreon or PayPal. Projects like this, you know, they do take a lot of time and a lot of money in this case, and not all of it's come from Alan. I've chucked a fair bit in the pot as well. And, you know, if you want to support the channel, then you can do that through either of those two portals, PayPal or Patreon. Okay, crew, I've got to tidy up. I'm definitely overdue another cider, and I could really do with a cigarette. But first, I've got to get rid of that old fuel. Okay, crew, well, until next time, thank you very much for watching. Cheers. Over and out. up again.
Oh,